Hey everyone, thank you for listening to another episode of Spoiler Force Podcast. You can find more episodes on any major podcasting platform such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, SoundCloud, and even on YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and make sure to follow and like Spoiler Force Podcast on Facebook.
Hi, this is Nplooj Siab, and you're listening to Spoiler Force Podcast.
All right, so this is episode 62 of Spoiler Force Podcast. My name is Ricky, and thank you for tuning in. This week's guest is someone that is a pretty big deal in the Hmong community, actually, and I was not expecting to get her as a guest, too. I just kind of shot a message to her on Facebook, and I got a reply, and so we're collaborating together. You may have seen her videos on Facebook Live. She does a lot of mukbang-styled videos. She's also a singer, an actress, and also I guess you could say a model as well, because she does a lot of merchandise selling as well. So let me introduce my guest here, Nplooj Siab Vaj. Really quick here. There you go. All right.
Hi.
So thank you so much for being on the podcast. I know when I reached out to you, I just kind of winged it, and then you responded back within like a week or so. So I'm pretty happy that we're able to do this.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me. I'm really happy to be here. I'm excited.
Is this your first podcast that you've done?
Yes, my very first podcast. My first podcast ever.
Yeah, it's not too hard. It's just a typical like conversation. So don't don't worry that if it's like a too crazy of an interview, I'm not trying to like get hurt or anything. So
Okay.
yeah, I know some people think like podcasts are like interviews, so they treat it as it, and then they kind of like don't get comfortable during the conversation. So I let all my guests know, like, when you're on my podcast, it's just us talking. It's nothing crazy.
Okay. I got you. Don't worry.
So you've been, I guess, an online personality for quite some time. I first discovered your work actually through ZooHlub. And a lot of folks that follow Spoiler Force Podcast, they know that I was trying to collaborate with ZooHlub too, but it just never worked out. But I think I seen your first, I guess your first project was that Hmong movie that ZooHlub directed. I forgot what the title was. It was like Go Momi or something like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were one of the main leads in that movie. And then just through time, I kind of just saw like your collaborations with her. You did like papaya salad mukbangs with ZooHlub, and then you did music with her too. And then you also helped with her makeup line and just a lot of work with her. And then I just started following your page by yourself, and now you do like mukbangs on your own. And
Yeah.
so like, how does that, do you feel like awkward at times when you're just eating in front of the camera talking to people?
I actually don't feel awkward. It's actually, I don't know, it's really fun for me. Like, if people are interacting, my fans are constantly interacting and like commenting on my live, it's actually really, really fun. It's like the most interesting part of my day, and it's like part of the day that I look forward to the most, because I feel like as a entertainer or as someone, regardless if you're Hmong, American, doesn't matter. I feel like you should have some sort of engagement with your fans that support you. So I actually really look forward to that live. Every time I'm on live, it's like it's something new, it's something interesting, and I don't know. I think it's not awkward to me. It's really fun, actually.
Yeah, because I've seen the one you did a couple of days ago, and you were doing the salmon, and you were
Oh,
using the knife. You were using the knife, and I typed the comment. I was like, that's kind of dangerous how you were doing it, and
oh,
I like that you keep it very genuine. You don't do it like where it's trying to be, I guess, fancy, or I'm trying to find the right word here, but like you're not making it sophisticated. It's just like strictly at home, authentic. People see how it is in your kitchen,
yeah.
and so a lot of fans react to that and kind of like that interaction that you do as well. And how long have you been doing that? Did you just start the mukbang stuff just randomly, or did you kind of just go into it through, I guess,
Well,
through time?
I really wanted to do it a long time ago, but the thing is, I've grown up on a farm, and so I live in Arkansas. So I live out on the farm, and so out on the farm there's no signal. So every time I go on live, it's like either really laggy or the comments don't load or like something wrong goes something goes wrong. And so we recently moved to more in the city, and that's why I was able to have like I was able to go on live because I had a better connection, just like better everything. And so that's the reason why I just started recently, like a month ago. But I actually wanted to do this a long time ago. But yeah, that's why it's not like really weird to me because it's something I wanted to do a long time ago. It's not something that I just recently wanted to do, if that makes sense. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But why not do like those edited videos instead of just going live? Have you tried doing that too, like the whole YouTube thing?
Oh yeah. I've done those last year, but the thing is, it takes a very long time, and I just think that it's like it's not super long, but it takes a while to like edit and then add music and then like funny sound effects or whatever the vibe is. But I just felt like if I could try something different and do it on live and have people's like authentic reaction with mine as well. So that's why I didn't really do like I used to do them last year, but I don't do them anymore. I just think it's kind of time consuming, and I think that it's more interesting to get the audience's like feedback or like audience's reaction as well.
And speaking about your audience, do you have like a very wide range of audiences from like I'm assuming they're from like Thailand and like Laos around there, a lot of the Hmong folks there. Because I see some of the comments that are written in Thai, so I don't even know what they're saying in that. But do you like that? Do you like that you have like so many like such a variety of Hmong fans that follow you too, that comment on what you eat and see what you cook and stuff like that?
Yeah, I do actually. I really like it, and like you said, I have a wide range of audiences from here, from Laos, Thailand, China, Vietnam, like almost everywhere. Some even in France, some even Australia. I think it's interesting because it's really weird because I never thought of like me becoming like like people from overseas from everywhere like interested in watching what I do. So I think it's just really interesting to me. It's like, what did I do to make them want to come watch my content? You know, it's weird because there's so many people out there that like do the same exact things that I do, but they're not a lot of people overseas know them as well, if that makes sense. And so I just think it's really interesting, and I think it's I'm really grateful for everyone everywhere.
Do you meal prep at all? Like the meals that you do for your live videos, is it already planned out, or you kind of just wing it?
I kind of just wing it. Like if I'm like I'm hungry today, I want to go on live, and so I usually plan my live videos at like 5 o'clock because girls take like almost 2 hours to get ready, and so I usually plan it around 5, and I always go on live around 7 o'clock because that's whenever people over in America are getting off work and the people overseas are waking up, and so it's like a good time because I mean I could do 7 in the morning, but I was not about to wake up at 7 in the morning every day. So I always do it at night. And so, yeah.
Now, you mentioned earlier that you live in Arkansas right now. Have you always lived in Arkansas? Did you live anywhere else?
Yeah, I lived in Nebraska. I lived in Omaha, Nebraska for about 4 years. And then when I was like 4, almost 5, we moved down to Arkansas. And then I lived in Arkansas my whole life, basically, from 4 to now. And then I lived at the farm for like a long time. So I'm basically like a farm girl. I know how to kill chickens. I know how to gut chickens. I know how to kill like butcher like pigs and everything. And people are like, "Oh my gosh, I would not expect that from you." I'm like,
I can't do any of that stuff.
it's okay.
Like I think there was one time where I went to go kill a cow with my grandma, and the way how I saw them kill the pig, I was like, I'm not doing this. So I can never go back and do it. I was just the sound of the pig like squealing and crying, and I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah, same. I don't even do the killing. I just do the plucking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So your family owns the farm, then you still live with them too, or you live on your own?
No, I live with my family. It's just that we have a couple of houses, and so like my parents bounce back and forth a lot, but we mainly stay at this one right here. And yeah, the farm is just I've grown up on the farm my whole life, so yeah.
And you were born in the States too, right?
Yeah, I was born in the States.
Do
Jonghu
you get
actually
that?
thought I was a girl from overseas, and I was like, No, I'm not a girl from overseas. She thought I was not being like mean, but just what she told me. She thought I was like, and I was like, oh no. I was like, no, and I was like, why did you think that? And she's like, because you talk in Hmong so good, and I was like, what? I have that like Hmong accent. Like every Hmong kid has their own accents based on where they live, and I was like, I think I have like the typical Hmong American accent.
I don't know. I don't really hear that because when I hear you speak Hmong on your Facebook lives, you speak very well and very articulate. And like from someone like me, I don't even speak Hmong that well. I kind of sound like I'm stuttering or if I'm like just struggling to speak Hmong. And but I think you do pretty well for your own like for your end. Like it's pretty clear. You speak Hmong Ling too, right? Or do you speak Hmong Dag?
I speak Hmong. I only speak Hmong for ZooHlub's her movies, and it's weird because if you tell me to speak it right now, I can't do it. I butcher all my words. But if we're on set on camera, and then like when we're on set and everything, I could do it like really well. Like not as well as like an authentic Hmong person, but I can do it better than if you tell me to say like speak Hmong right now.
It's probably weird. Like due to like the acting and the script then.
Probably, I don't know, maybe.
Now, I wanted to ask as well because I think before we, when we were exchanging messages, you said you were going to school. I don't know if you're still going now, but what are you going for exactly?
I'm going for biology. Just right now, I just finished summer school, and so I'm currently in school right now. It's just right now we're just not enrolling in school at the moment because it's like summer right now, and I just finished my first summer courses, and so in the fall I will be going in as a junior. And then hopefully I can catch up because in the past I was doing a lot of movies, like for example, ZooHlub's movie, and so I had to do like part-time 2 classes, 6 credit, like super easy online classes, and it was really really hard to like finish assignments and also act all together. And so I'm hoping to finish up my schooling within 2.5 years for my biology's bachelor's degree.
Okay. So you were acting and doing your social media stuff during schooling too then?
Yes.
Okay. So you weren't doing like full-time school, were you? Was it only just during the movie?
It was only during the movie.
Part-time? Okay.
Yeah.
So with COVID, how has that been treating you then? Since not going to school, you just kind of just work on all of your content at home?
Yeah. Actually, in the past, like it was our schooling online wasn't very, very structured. It was just kind of like, it was like a self-paced course. And so it wasn't that bad. It gave me more time to focus on like online like mukbangs or online like interacting with my fans and doing like video stuff. And so school doesn't really affect it now because of COVID. But now because of COVID, I feel like I have more time to interact with people because I'm always indoors. I don't ever go outside. And even if there isn't COVID, I don't really go out just because like I don't like it's hard to believe, but I don't have a lot of friends. And some of my friends like live really far away, like 2-3 hours away. And so I only get to see them once in a while, and I don't really go out. So COVID happening, it's not like a major difference for me. I would just say that the only big difference from COVID is me being able to like do school and do my online stuff evenly.
Do you know when you're going to go back to school at all?
Yeah, I'm gonna go back in the fall. I think our school, they're making us go half of the semester, they're making us go face to face, and then the other half they're making us go online. And so face to face is gonna be difficult for me because like I had to drive 30-40 minutes to school and drive 30-40 minutes back to home. And so if I was to go to school, come back and like try to go online, that would be very, very difficult. So I'm hoping that the school changes their mind and that they just do everything online.
It'll be more convenient for sure.
Yeah.
Now, when you started all this social media content before, I think I've seen one of your videos where you were a Hmong pageant for, was it the Hmong Miss Arkansas? And did you place or did you win that competition at all?
Yes. That year was 2016, and I received the title of Miss Hmong Arkansas. Yeah, it was 2016.
Oh, so you won the competition then?
Yes.
Yeah, because I think I saw the video where you were doing, was it the flag twirling? Was that it that you shared?
Oh yeah, yeah. That
Yeah,
was
I thought
my
that was
talent
pretty
run.
impressive. Like, I had no idea that you knew how to do that. So,
Oh,
and I'm surprised to see. Like, I think that's one of the first I've seen in a Hmong like competition where they show like the talent skills. Usually, it's always like a dancing
mhm.
skill set or like a singing talent or something. I've never seen flag twirling, so I thought that was very different from what they usually show in that kind of competition.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, were you doing that in high school too? Because I know some schools have that for like an elective or like some sort of and like after school kind of project too.
hmm Yeah, so I was in color guard, and I think that was like my sophomore going to junior year, and I was doing color guard, and so I was not that bad at color guard. I was pretty good, and so I just really really liked it, and I thought like I could incorporate it into like my talent round because like I didn't want to dance or sing or like because I feel like that's very very general. Like everyone sings, everyone dances. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna throw my flag and throw my rifle. Let's see how people react to it. And I don't know, it was a different reaction. Everyone was like scared. They thought I was gonna drop the flag and everything. The judges were like doing this, like backing their face up because they I guess they thought I was gonna like accidentally drop it on them. And then I didn't, so yeah.
You know, I think it'd be funny if like someone did like a stand up comedy or like if someone did just something like no one would expect it. Like like your talent would be I guess cooking or eating in front of the
Oh
judges
yeah.
to see how they would react to that.
That's so funny because I was joking around. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna cook for them if I can't think of something unique.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of those pageants, it's kind of like the same structure, kind of the same thing. No one does anything to really kind of stand out unless it's like and it's always like look based. They always base it on like the competitors' physical attributes and
hmm
what they wear. It was it's always like the same kind of deal. Now, do you feel like there was some sort of I guess I don't want to say like conspiracy, but like some sort of like tactic to where like they were trying to get certain girls to win? Do you ever feel like that was the case?
Well, actually, I'm not sure because back then, that was Arkansas' second year doing a pageant. And so Arkansas is not very, very, like, they don't really know how to run a really good pageant versus like Minnesota or California that's been doing it for years and years. And so Arkansas was still learning. And I was also still learning. I only had 3 weeks to prepare. And at the time, I was only 15 going on to 16. Like I literally turned 16 like a week or 2 weeks before the pageant started. And so I was basically going in as like a 15-year-old. And so I honestly like don't really know. I believe that Arkansas itself, they wouldn't do that because Arkansas is a small town. Everyone basically knows everyone. But versus like big cities, I don't know. Like I can't really say that people would like target like these kind of people to win or these kind of people to win. Does that make sense? Because I don't live in the big cities. And even Arkansas, I don't think so. Or I don't know for sure, but I don't think Arkansas would do that because we're like a small community. Everyone kind of knows everyone. And I don't really know if this area of pageant stuff too. So yeah.
Have you thought about like going to different cities to compete?
That's very funny because I wanted to compete more, but I decided that I shouldn't because if I do, like whether I win or not, there's gonna be some sort of conspiracy. Everyone's gonna say something because like in the most humblest way, like I'm more well known now versus like back then. So if I do win, people are gonna say, "Oh my God, the judges gave her all the points because everyone knows her." And if I lose, they're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, like back then she was Miss Arkansas, but then now she didn't get the title, and so I just feel like she's not good enough." So I was like, I'm gonna save everyone. I'm just not gonna go compete anywhere. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like a lot of these competitions are like I don't want to say they're bad, but like I've entered a singing competition, and I know that they're very like Hmong centered. I didn't do any Hmong songs, so I'm pretty sure that's why I didn't place. But I felt
Um,
like there was some talents out there that weren't as great, and they still placed. And like I don't want to complain about it, but like because that was like 2 or 3 years ago. But I thought that I did well enough. And I feel like the song choices were definitely a huge factor, and you're doing like a Hmong competition. I think they do look more. They kind of favor towards like the Hmong artists who sing like Hmong songs versus someone who's more like Americanized that sings like Queen or Linkin Park or like someone that's an American industry artist. But now with that being turned like that's turning into something different now. That's more, I guess, accepted now with Hmong kids being more like Americanized or Westernized with the media and like being more modern, I guess you can say. Have you thought about like doing that transition? I know you do some music too, but you do like more Hmong style music. Have you thought about doing like what a lot of these artists are doing now today? For example, like what Kalia Universe is doing, or like what like what a lot of not rappers, but like more mainstream type music.
Yeah, I've thought about it. I've actually came out with one song that was more modern. I had DJ Peter do the music for me. It was very like kind of R&B kind of vibe, kind of style. But the thing is I feel like it's harder to do things that are more modern because I feel like a lot of people in the US have very high expectations. So like if you want to do like a song inspired by modern music, I feel like you have to be as good, or like it has to be almost perfect. And so as a beginner, I don't know how to write music like that, and I don't know how to produce really good music like that. So it's very, very difficult to like it sounds kind of bad, but it's really difficult to please like the style over here, if that makes sense. But which is why I do a lot of my styles more for people overseas, because overseas, like, it's not that they have low standards, but it's more like I feel like they see more of like how you're trying versus like the quality. Not saying that the quality I put out is really bad. It's just that like I just can't produce songs as good as Justin Bieber. Does that make sense? And
So
so
you find it easier to do like Hmong music than like
yeah,
Americanized music then?
it's a lot easier. I tried one song and I was like, I don't think this is gonna work. So I don't think I would go down the route of R&B or anything. But I love listening to Kalia. I love listening to like David Yang and the artists that have more modern music and that's more R&B kind of style. But for me, I think it's very difficult, and I think it's difficult to find like people to compose the right music for that kind of style.
That's true. Yeah, like a lot of artists. I mean, a lot of these producers, I don't want to say all the same, but they're all geared toward the same genre. So it really just depends on your taste of music. I've listened to some of DJ Peter's content. I haven't really looked into his music that well, but I am aware of who he is. Some of his stuff is pretty good. I think he produced music for like some other Hmong artists too. I forgot who they were. I think maybe Yasmin was one of them. But yeah, he's pretty good. For helping out a lot of the Hmong artists that are trying to do music too. And just speaking of music too, I know that you're really acquainted with ZooHlub, and she did music too. Is music how you guys met, or was it through the movie? How did you guys actually become like close?
We actually met at the New Year's and we became close through the movie. And so we didn't actually like plan to do a movie together. I just followed her a lot as she was like traveling, selling her clothes and selling her makeup. It was like a few years ago. And so she came into a town that was 2 hours away from me. It was in Oklahoma. So I went to Oklahoma New Year's and I met her and I took a picture, the whole like fangirl thing. And then I asked her, are you guys doing movies? Because I saw you say on live, you're going to make one of your daddings like come to life in a movie. And she said that yes, she is. And I asked if she was looking for actors and actresses, and she was like, she's still looking for them. So I was like, well, if I am available, I will literally like take off school just to do the movie. And so she was like, okay. And so that was how we met. After we met at the New Year's, and then we met and got to know each other more through the movies. And then ever since that, like, I guess you could say that like our personalities like are compatible. And so like I guess that's how we just kept like becoming closer and closer, and then now she's basically like my mom. She like literally will yell at me if I do something wrong, or she'll literally praise me like I'm her little child.
Yeah, because like I heard of Zhonghu the first time through my mom. My mom was following her too, and she was just starting her content, her clothing stuff, and all the makeup stuff. So like I would hear Zhonghu's like live videos and her voice every day because of my mom. Like she would play it on her phone, and so
Mhm.
I always wondered who that was. And then just through time, I kind of just learned to. I figured out who she was. I even watch some of her live stuff sometimes too to see what she talks about. I know she does like a lot of storytellings and stuff. But working with her on the movie set, did you like the outcome of the movie?
Yeah, I would say like every project, regardless if it's this one or any past movies, I feel like every movie has room for improvement. But I feel like I like the outcome, but I don't like it to my fullest potential, if that makes sense. Like I would say I like it like 60%, and the other 40 is like, it could have been better. I would say that like the reason why I say I like it is because when I was on set, I saw how hard everyone worked, and I know how hard I worked, but it's like the final people whenever they watch a movie, they don't think about what people do behind the scenes, or they don't think about like what the characters go through in real life. They just care about the final product. And so even though the movie didn't come out like exactly the way we wanted it to, or it didn't come out as good as we wanted it to, I'm pretty happy with what we were able to produce, because a lot of people didn't have the experience. Like it was a lot of people's first times acting or directing or like editing, camera, whatever, sponsor. Like there was a lot of newcomers. And so for new people that had no experience or little to no experience, I would say that we did a fairly good job. Room for improvement, yes, there's always room for improvement, but I would say I'm pretty happy with the outcome. Yeah.
Okay. Like, have you watched it like in full? Like, do you watch like how you act and stuff too?
Oh yeah, I watched it. It's weird. I don't like watching myself act.
Like a lot of actors do that. Like, I don't want to confirm. I think maybe like DiCaprio is one of them. Like he
Mhm.
doesn't like watching himself. A lot of content creators don't really like to go back and watch their own content. Even for myself, like, I don't listen to my own podcast when it's like finished. I only listen to it when I'm editing it and then when I go back and edit it so many times, I just get tired of hearing myself. So I never listen to the whole like finished product at all. Um, Now, when you were in it was directed in Thailand, right?
Yes.
So how was that experience? Like just going there and then just making the movie there. Was there any like anything that you did behind the scenes that was like I guess you could say like funny, or any memorable things over there?
Yeah, we had a lot of funny moments. There's a lot. I don't really remember like a specific one that stuck out to me, but going to Thailand wasn't really much of a culture shock to me because I've been to Thailand before already. I think I went to Thailand twice before that. And so that was my third time going to Thailand, and it wasn't like a big culture shock. I would say like probably the funniest things in Thailand is just like expressing the American culture to like the Thailand culture over there, because just like the way we talk. I would say the funniest moments are the way we talk, because like for example like they know simple words like hello, hi, water, like food or whatever like that, but they have a certain accent to it. So sometimes I'd be like, can I have water? They'll be like, what is water? And I'd be like, this water bottle. And they're like, oh, you mean water? And I'm like, oh, okay, I have to say it like that to get water. I would say that just speaking is, or like just talking in general is like the funniest moments, because we had a lot of funny moments.
And do you plan to extend your acting career at all? Is that the only movie you've done? Have you done anything else besides that, and like some music videos?
Yeah, I've done two movies. I wouldn't say movies. Well, the first one was more of a short film. That was my very, very first time on screen. I would say for like being like not having no experience in doing it for the first time, I would say I did a decent job. It's not the best, but like coming from someone that's never done it before, I would say that it's decent. It's not that bad. I was able to watch it. And then the second movie was in 2017. It was a full length movie. Oh, the first one is called "Nplooj Siab, and the second one is called "The Gu," and both of these were with starring Pae Eugene Tao. And then the third movie that I've done was "Gomami Lukoma." So yeah.
Okay, that's great. I didn't know about the first two, so I'll definitely check that out then. Yeah,
It's
'cause I
okay. You don't have to.
no? Do you feel like it was kind of awkward just watching yourself then in those older like videos, like
Yeah.
with the limited experience that you had versus what you have now?
I think it was just really funny because the movies back then was not like a serious genre. It was more love comedy. And so like I'll just say there was a scene where my cousin was like, pick your nose and then eat it and spit. And I was like, what the heck? And so it was more funny, and I feel like watching myself is really cringy, but I force myself to watch it because like you see what you are like, and you can learn from what you do, like facial expression, body language, and everything. And so I force myself to watch it, and I don't know, I kind of like watching it, but I don't like it's really cringy. But like deep down, I know that I low key have to like watching it because I have to learn somehow. So
Do you think
yeah.
it could be like just hearing yourself speak the lines too?
What was that?
Do you think it could be like the fact that you're hearing yourself speak the lines too that kind of makes you cringe a little bit?
Oh, yes, because like as you know, like I was literally a kid. I was like only like 16. And so 16 is 20, like my voice changed as well. And so I was like, "Oh my gosh, my voice sounds so weird. It sounds really weird."
Have you done any acting classes or anything like that?
I have. So in Arkansas, we don't have a really, really big modeling agency, but they did have acting class. They did have runway, like fashion show walking class, and like they had classes for like photo shoot sessions and stuff like that. And so I was really little. I think I was probably like 11, 12, 13. And then I stopped around 13 because I was like, I don't like Arkansas is too small for me to go anywhere big. And so I discontinued after like 13. But yeah, I did take some classes back then.
And do you plan to, I guess now with the experience that you have, and even with the following that you have now, do you plan to do like more, I guess, short films then, or with like more modernized, I guess, studios, not just with the Hmong community, but have you considered like doing with like more like local, or even with like more like, I guess you could say like Mika type of studios too, like, or even with like not like Asians that are not within our community, kind of like
Hmm.
Wong Fu styled type of short films and stuff like that.
Hmm. I mean, I've thought about it, I've considered it, but the thing is that like I live in Arkansas, so it's very difficult for everything to happen because I don't really know their like I know that their audition process is really, really long. And it's just that like living in such like a small like a smaller state with like Arkansas is not focused on like those kinds of things. So in order to do that, I have to go to like Minnesota or California, and that's really far, time consuming. And so it's kind of unrealistic for me. I would have to move to an area where
Okay.
they have all those things available, but I would if I could.
Yeah, because in Michigan here, like I know some small film crews that are around. Like shout out to Clean Slate Productions and to Blue View Cinema. Like I was in a short film called Fly Boys, but I didn't had no lines. I was an extra in the background. I was just like picking up bags and then leaving the airport. But like just seeing
Oh,
like being a part of a small set like that, I thought that was really cool. But I'd like to see more like Hmong artists be in that kind of environment too. I know like with the Hmong community doing their own thing too, but like it's definitely more, I guess, I don't want to say professional. I can't find the right words. I don't want to make it seem like they're not good, but
yeah, yeah.
it makes it more like more
Diverse.
modern for sure. I guess you could say more modern when you see them in like showing the short film like in a small theater or in film competitions and stuff like that. I would like to see more Hmong artists do that. I know there was like some Hmong, like those two Hmong brothers that wrote that movie for Netflix. Forgot what it was called. I can't think of it right now, but I know that was produced by them. And then there's also like Hmong actors who were like with Gran Torino and like Duomo and those guys too. So we're slowly like breaking that, breaking that barrier. But I would like to see more Hmong artists or content creators in that kind of uh, genre of entertainment too. Um, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
but also like, if you were to move to any of those cities, would you do it right after, I guess, when you finish school, or do you plan to just stay in Arkansas?
I don't know. I feel like I might just plan to stay in Arkansas because I feel like, I mean, that path is fun and I can make a living off of it, but I feel like realistically, like to go down that path, Well, let's just say that like I have a vision of my own of getting married and having kids in the future, but I feel like sometimes like if you go down that path of like working, because a lot of Americans they like having intimate scenes and stuff like that. And so I feel like if you go down this path and always acting with like a lead man or acting like behind the scenes or something like some Hmong guys would not like that. Or like if I was to get married one day, like they would probably not like that. And I honestly, it sounds so sad saying this, but oh my God, I love acting, but I would choose my life of what I want to do, like kids and having a family over a career that I really like. Does that make sense? I would see acting as more like
Like
a
a side
hobby,
hobby?
a
Okay.
side hobby rather than like a job. But like if I didn't really like care about like if I wasn't like so like I don't know like it's really difficult with Hmong people. Like it's like I if I go to acting, a lot of Hmong people would not like that. So
So
I have to set it aside.
so you think it's because of how, like, I guess you could say, like, how Hollywood does things, like where for you have to get physical with someone, you wouldn't like that part of the whole acting aspect. You think like being looked upon like that, like, oh, she's doing that, that's kind of not good. Like, is
Yeah, yeah.
that what kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say, is it sort of like shaming? I don't know if it's shaming.
Kind of. It is kind of. I don't know. It's weird because there are a lot of Hmong people that are still very conservative, and so they think that like, oh, like doing an intimate scene, it like makes you like unworthy or stuff like that. That's why I never do scenes where like any kissing scenes, any like sleeping scenes or anything like that. But I see Hmong people like do that in movies, but I know that like a lot of Hmong people can't accept that yet. So if Hmong people were like American people and they didn't really care, then oh my gosh, yes, I would go for my acting career and I would like do the best that I can. But a lot of Hmong people can't adjust to that yet.
Did you grow up conservative then, like in a conservative household?
Oh yes, my mom, my parents are like conservative and they're also very modern on certain things. Like they're very conservative on those types of things, but like fashion wise and everything, they're not really conservative. Like if I wear like a dress that's like too like long, my mom be like, "Why is your dress so long? You look like a grandma." So it's just specific things. But I did grow up, and I do grow up in like a very conservative household. But yeah, at the same time, there's some things where it's not very conservative either.
Is your family pretty traditional then?
Oh yeah. I
Oh,
would say it's like 50-50.
okay. Yeah, I
Yeah.
it does take like I don't want to say, like, it does take like some sort of toll, especially with newer generation of Hmong kids, like growing up here in the States, and being exposed to the kind of media that we see now. It's so normalized to see like sex and murder and stuff like that on TV, and especially in films and acting. So I think like when you have Hmong parents who don't really, or not just Hmong parents, but like Hmong folks who who aren't adjusted to that, and when you see like these kids go and pursue this kind of career, it's, I don't know why they take it so seriously. I don't think it'll affect like our culture that way, but I guess the idea of seeing like a Hmong person doing that, and it's so out of the norm for them. And I don't know, I feel like a lot of the Hmong people who aren't progressing to that, it kind of like holds us back a little bit as a community, because there's tons of us who want to pursue things and who want to be a part of this entertainment, or like just like in this kind of industry. And I feel like that it's not really fair, like for someone like you who'd want to pursue that, but then it's kind of held back because of all those standards that you grew up with, or that are like that you were taught with. I'm not saying that it's not bad, but I think in a way it does kind of hold you back a little bit to what you want to do.
Yeah, it does. I feel like with Hmong men, I think it's like it's a little easier for you guys because I don't know, I just feel like the Hmong hierarchy, like men are more at the top, just like speaking the honest truth. And so like that's why it's really hard for me because I feel like because I'm a Hmong girl, like I would have to comply to my future husband's family. I had to comply to like my husband and what he wants, or like I had to comply to like I would have to comply to men's standards. That makes sense. So if I do those intimate scenes, and let's say I do them, like for example, I do intimate scenes like that. I work with Mika people, Hmong people. I do a lot of scenes like that. When I grow up, I know that there will be people that are like, oh, we don't want this as our nya, or I don't want her as my wife because she did so many intimate scenes with so many people. It's like she's unworthy. Does that make sense? But if a Hmong guy does it, it's not.
It's completely okay or something.
It's completely okay.
It's there's like a double standard to that, like where, especially being growing up in a Hmong family too. Like my folks aren't traditional, so that's why when I see things like this, I don't really get it too at times, where I do question like our culture a bit. And it's like for me growing up, I always felt like I was like looking from the outside in, because I never grew up in a traditional household. My parents are from my dad's side, they grew up in a Christian household, and my mom was she grew up being very independent. She did her own things too, so she wasn't really affected by the traditions or like the super standards of the Hmong culture. So when I see like where Hmong men get away with it, like where they can do certain things, for example, like the acting and all that stuff, right? But then when a Hmong woman does it, it's like, shame on you, you're a hoe and da da da. It's man, it's like that's not really fair. I mean, they want to pursue that kind of career too.
Yeah.
I feel like with that in mind, I do feel like it's something that we should, as a community, should like look over those kind of standards. I know there's a lot of Hmong women these days on Facebook and stuff, like speaking out and speaking up about I guess you could say they say it like misogynistic style of our culture, and like a lot of the old heads are getting really upset. I've seen some of that drama, and I don't know. I don't want to say too much either, because either way, someone's going to get offended. But for anyone who's listening, I do think that we should be able to give everyone a fair opportunity, whether if it's in entertainment or music or whatever they want to pursue, and not use the culture as some sort of anchor to hold someone down. Especially a lot of like Hmong women that are being content creators now. They're trying to break the status quo, and a lot of folks are still trying to do like, go kill chickens or something like that. I don't know. I feel like we're living in a modern era of America too, and not that we should disown the Hmong culture, but we should definitely progress and evolve as a community. I don't know. I just the way how you worded it earlier, I just felt like that was kind of unfair. Like how you think it's like that when I wouldn't judge per se, but like for you to have that kind of mindset already, to say like I'm worried about what they think. I think that's really unfair that that you do have that kind of thought process, because it's going to hold you back on what you want to pursue. But if it's something that, I mean, it's your choice too. I'm not saying that you should or should not do it, but I do feel like it's definitely something that that isn't really fair, because you shouldn't have that on your mind. You shouldn't have to worry about am I gonna please like these future in-laws, or please like I guess like the Hmong people love like the whole kuti kind of thing. So like and worry about that definitely holds a lot of people back for sure.
Yeah, it really does.
Now with your following that you have, I think like I don't want to say you average, but I do see like you do get like up to 300 to almost 500, maybe more viewers when you do your live videos. Have you considered doing anything like a Patreon or like some sort of crowdfunding too, to bring some sort of income in?
No, I haven't considered it. I feel like my fans already do so much for me. I feel like I don't think a Patreon is necessary, or any funding to it is necessary. And I feel like most of my fans are, I would say half and half is overseas and over here as well. And so I feel like they don't expect that from me, and I don't want to put that out there to have people like feel obligated to like help fundraise or help like financially. So I haven't really considered it, but I mean, like, if people do want to do that, it would be really much appreciated, but I haven't really considered it.
I mean, like if you do something like Patreon, or even like, I know a lot of there's the stigma of OnlyFans. You know, like a lot of girls who do OnlyFans, like you don't have to do what those girls do, but like you know,
Mm-hmm.
just to throw on like another crowdfunding source like that. I mean, it's just really just extra content, really, that you know that you just give your fans. Like if, like let's say you did do a Patreon, like certain tiers that they have, you can do like you get like postcards or something, you know,
Mm-hmm.
something small, and like I think that'd be great for like a lot of the Hmong artists too. Like I think there's some that are starting Patreons and stuff like that. I was considered doing it too, but my following is not to where I want it yet, so I don't want to push it out there and then like and expect something when there's nothing there. But for you, I know I like I said, I've seen you have quite a following for sure, and it'll really help expand your content that you have and help grow your channel too, whether you want to pursue it as like a YouTube or like a Facebook channel or even Twitch. Like have you thought about doing stuff like that too, or just are you just sticking to the Facebook stuff to keep it really simple?
I mean, I've thought of doing YouTube. I wanted to do like I wanted to branch out with like Mika people. And so like originally I had a YouTube channel with my sister and they used to send us stuff all the time, but then now they like her more than me. So I'm like, okay, y'all can just have her. So I wanted, aside from Facebook and the home community, I wanted to branch out to Mika people, and I wanted to do like more of like a prank style channel, because my family pranks each other all the time. We just never capture it on camera, and like I think our family is really funny, but like I feel like it's only like we only get each other's humor, if that makes sense. And so I feel like if I was to do a YouTube channel, it would be like kind of a vlog or like a prank channel. But other than Facebook, that's the only thing I've thought about. Like maybe YouTube for like more of like a Mika audience. And then like I don't really do anything else other than Facebook and YouTube.
Yeah, because for me, the podcast is only for like it's only audio right now, so I'm just doing like this whole video stuff now, and actually, I guess you're the third or fourth guest I have on video podcast. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, so like it's just a learning. I just like starting this stuff. Excuse me, and you know it's for me, I do want to like branch out my content too, which is why like I'm trying this stuff. And usually I would never do video content. Like I'm really self conscious of like how I look on camera or like how I speak, because I don't like editing the process of the video. And the audio is just so much easier. I can like cut and paste things much more easier, and the conversation flow is a lot different versus like if it's just a video and then I have to match the audio. It's just more time consuming, which is why I avoid it. But you know, on the topic of like your followers too, with the amount of followers that you have, you do run into some like negative and troll like comments or people that just jump on your feed. How do you react to that when there's like, you know, people who say negative things to you, or even you know, even like let's say like explicit content to you, like they'll say something rude to you. How do you react to that?
Well, I just kind of, it depends on where it's at. Like, let's say, for example, if it's a comment, but I'm not on live, then I would just like, I just try to like answer as, I would try to like rebuttal myself, if that makes sense, depending on what they're saying. But like, if it's like on live, then I just kind of laugh it off, because like there's a Hmong saying, like, you don't want it to be like, dated, day she thought. So sometimes like I don't know, like I can really be petty about it, but I decide not to, because I just feel like sometimes it's just best to like be the bigger person, just play it off, and like I just say things as nice as I can, and I don't really try to like say bad things, or like if I do see comments like that on live, I try not to like say bad things, because I know that like a lot of little kids watch me as well, and so like I just want to set good examples for them as well. And so like, for example, if someone was to say that like I look ugly, I wouldn't be like, oh, you're like a B word, you're this and this and that. I would just be like, thank you, like that doesn't make you any prettier, but thank you, you know, like just I want to say I want to like call you out on what's right. I don't want to bring up all these other different things that's not necessary into like to make me look right. Does that make sense? And so I don't know, I just kind of laugh it off. But then sometimes if I get really like, if a lot of people like say bad things to me and at one setting, then like I do kind of like get more aggressive just so people like back off. Because in the past, I've had a lot of people like say bad things about me or like talk badly about me, and if I go like it's okay, whatever. Like a lot of I get people are like, oh, like she's vulnerable, like we can just say anything. And so if I just allow that to happen, then people constantly do it. It doesn't make me feel bad, but it makes other people look at me badly. If that makes sense. Like some of my friends are like they weren't my friends yet, but they're like, "Are you like really like that?" Like a lot of people are saying that about you. I'm like, "Oh my god!" If people are starting to question me, that means that a lot of people are thinking that I'm actually like the rumor. The rumors are actually true. If that makes sense. So it just really depends. It's like sometimes I stick up to myself and I be really petty about it, just so people like back off. Because if they know that you just laugh about it, if people see that you just like if you don't really like say anything or like if you're not aggressive about it, people are just gonna keep stepping over you. And so that's what I learned. So it just really depends on how
Has
petty
there
I
been
feel.
what's the worst thing you've heard? Like rumor or comment? Like what's one of the worst things you've seen?
Oh, it's really bad. So one of the worst things I've gotten was after the movie this girl, she messaged me. She's like, "Oh my gosh, you're such a homewrecker. You go overseas just to get guys, and like you dated my husband." I was like, "What? WTF? Like you dated my husband, you're talking to my husband, and you're going overseas just to like just for the men." And I was just like, and then she's like, "You deserve to die. You shouldn't be doing these things." And so I was like, "Oh my gosh!" Like I didn't really care, but then I didn't want that person. Like if I don't say anything, that person's gonna be like Hmong people say, "Mo and they're gonna want to say more things if I don't stop at it. But there are some people where they like to see you feed oil to the fire, and so they'll like get more feisty. But I think I came on live one day. I started talking about it, and then like I think that was it. But then I was really calm, and then I cried, and then I was really mad, and then I was calm again. Because no one likes to be blamed. Like because doing movies, I don't get money. I just do it because I really like doing it. Like I lose time, I lose money, I lose school time, and people have the audacity to say those things. It's just like it gets really frustrating.
Have you had people like message you just to be like, "Oh, I just wanted to see if you'd respond to me or say hi"?
Oh yeah, a lot of people. I have so many people in my spam and my request messages. That's why I didn't see your message until like a really long time because you were in my spam messages. And there's a lot of people, and I do my best to like reply back, but like I said on live all the time, like if I respond back to someone, it's not like I say hi, you say hi, the conversation's over. It's like they want to keep talking. So like every night I try to at least say hi to like 10 people. And then imagine those 10 people like writing back, and it's like kind of trying to conversate with them because like I don't know, I want people to feel like I care, and I really do care. So there's so many of them and so many of you guys watching and like sending me messages. It's like I can't physically like reply back to everyone, but yeah.
Have you had any creepers that try to court you through Facebook or social media?
Oh, I get a lot of creepy messages, but I just don't. I get so much. It's not even funny. I get so many like bad photos. I get so many
Oh.
bad. Yeah, it's really, really bad because I'm really nice. So I want to like respond back to people, and I open it. I'm like, ew, never mind. So I don't know. It's crazy. I just don't like. I go through my spam, my filtered messages, and I try to respond back. And there's those weird people. So yeah.
I know there's like a lot of dudes it's always dudes that are creepy. Like they'll always ask for like feet pictures or like try to pay you for
Yeah.
something. It's really weird. Like on how what like the fetishes are that people have on the internet. Like I just want to see like your toes or some shit like that. It's like what the hell? Like why would you want to do that? Like I mean, some people take advantage of that and do like sell pictures of their feet to people, which I've heard of, but I don't know. I just find that really awkward to read, like just
Yeah.
opening your messages and just seeing something like really odd like that.
Yeah, it's really weird. The weirdest I've gotten was like he came in as like a girl, like his profile was a girl. I usually respond to girls' profile pictures first, just because I don't know, like I've seen so many of those where I'm just like, oh my god, I don't want to like. I'm scared to open a guy's message. And so I usually respond to girls. And so she was talking to me. And the first thing she asked me was what my name was. And I was like, don't you see it right there? And I was like, my name is Nplooj Siab. And then she called me and I was like, oh my god, I have to pick up because she's literally messaging me right now. I picked up, it was a guy's voice. And then it was really bad. I just hung up like 2 seconds later. So
the fact that you actually picked up the phone call, like holy crap.
I felt bad. Like I had to pick up, so I picked up.
It's like, so fans really call you through Facebook too? Like they'll try to video chat with you and stuff?
Yes, that's when I'm on live. I always put my phone on the moon. I had to put on the moon today so no one would interrupt like the podcast or my live.
That is creepy. Like, I don't know. I wouldn't have the audacity to do that with someone. It's just really weird because I wouldn't want someone to do that to me. You know, like that'd be really weird. Like, if anything, I'd just shoot like an email or like a message and then just see if there's any response. I would not want to like just video chat with someone that I barely know and then try to talk to them like that.
Oh, trust me, I get a lot. At night, I get a lot because over there it's in the daytime, and it's like it's like so many alarm clocks throughout the night. I don't even know what is my real alarm clock, and it gets really frustrating.
So you got like messages from like dudes from Thailand too, like trying to be creepy to you too?
I mean, this dude over here, Thailand, also girls overseas. Girls in America don't really call me, but girls overseas call me. Sometimes they call me because they're stressed out, and then like I would actually pick up and talk to them. They'll tell me about their whole life for like 4 hours, and then I'll give them the best advice I can.
Oh, you should just start charging people for that. That's so time consuming. You gotta listen to someone who's overseas to give them advice. Just start charging them.
Oh, it's okay. Oh my god. It's just that like I feel bad, and it's like, I mean, it's the least I can do. They literally watch my live for like 2-3 hours. I'm like, yeah, I guess it's the least I can do.
You ever get fans who are like that fangirl, like when they meet you too? I guess because, you know, when you go on social media and like have a presence or like an online personality, people feel like they know you in a sense. So have you encountered anyone like that? Like, they come up to me like, oh my god, look, shit, I know your stuff so much, and like geek out when they meet you?
Oh yeah, all the time. Whether it's over here, overseas, I get that all the time. And sometimes I kind of make friends with some of my fans, and so like we'll like the way we text each other or like message each other, it's like we're best friends already. And then whenever we meet each other in real life, it's like, oh my god, it's like we're actually best friends. It's like really weird, but it's like you can say it's like a connection with some of my fans or some of my fan friends. Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty cool that you do give your fans like time like that to know them and even message them too. But, you know, just to backtrack a little bit on just the phone calls, like I'm still like trying to process that. Like, you actually talk to them for like hours on end just to give them advice. Like I think that's the first time I've heard of someone doing that. Like I would not give them advice of anything.
Trust me, they do that. They do that to ZooHlub a lot. Like whenever I was with her, like a lot of people would call her and talk to her, and then since she's with me, she'll listen for about like 10-15 minutes, and she'll be like her mind is probably like, oh, this is gonna be a long story, and she'll be like, oh, like I'm sorry, I have guests, can I call you back later? And she'll call me back later. So I see that happen to her. I don't think that would happen to me, but like people do that to me too. Sometimes I do. If it's like a girl, then I do pick up. If it's a guy, I usually don't, because like I don't know, I feel bad, I hate saying this, but sometimes guys, that's just their way in of talking to you, and I just like I don't have a lot of time to spend like 5 hours talking to
a lot of guys are, I gotta say, a lot of guys are pretty creepy over the internet.
And they troll too. So it's like I don't have time to be trolled. Like if you are really like sad and you want to talk, then yes, I'm willing to talk. But if you just want to troll or you just want to like come and go, like I'm sorry, there's so many other girls.
You know, like it's also like the fact that, you know, they contact you through your personal page too. So like that's where you get most of your views from, which makes it, I don't know, do you feel like that's kind of intruding or intrusive then, because like the fact that they're contacting you through your personal Facebook?
No, I don't mind, because I just recently, like probably a few weeks ago, made a Facebook page, but I don't think it's weird or like intriguing, because that, I don't know, they like contacting me or like seeing me through my personal page, because I guess if it's like a fan page, they feel like, oh, it's a fan page. But if they see it's like your personal page, it's like you have that connection of like, oh, like she's adding me on Facebook. She's my friend on Facebook, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
And so
being friends with the personality, like, oh my god, I have their
yeah.
real Facebook page or something like that.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And so I don't really mind. I don't really like, I understand where they're coming from. And the reason why I'm like this is because back then, whenever like I wasn't well known yet, I was just like a little 14 little girl. I've met like some home artists I really, really, really liked. And they were so like stuck up. They were so like they didn't say anything to me. And I was talking to them. I was like, can I take a picture with you? I was so excited. And all she did was like smile and nod her head. And I was like, what? That's it? So
yeah,
I'm never gonna do that to my my fans ever.
I've had some run-ins with not just Hmong artists, but like even like going to Comic-Con and like meeting certain celebrities. Like, and you know, I mean, like there's a difference between meeting a Hmong celebrity and versus like meeting someone at Comic-Con, because like at Comic-Con you pay to meet them, so they are obligated to give you a portion of their time. But to meet like a Hmong artist who has that kind of mindset already, I understand, like, you know, them working hard, and you know, there is a sense of like pride or like elevation, because like you worked hard, you grind out to get to where you're at, so you feel like, you know, that's where you're at. But you kind of forget that your fans are the reason why like you're there too. So I've had my run-ins with like certain, I won't say who, but like certain Hmong artists where I was really just kind of how can I say this, like not overwhelmed, but like just kind of thrown off, because I thought that they'd be more interactive with their fans. And like, because on social media, like some people will say like, you know, I love my fans, this and that, and then when you meet them in person, they're a complete dick. So
yes, oh my God, yes.
So like I've had some run-ins to that. I was like, whoa, okay, so like I don't know, I just feel like it's, you know, and I spoke with LP about this too, like I asked LP like what was his thoughts if maybe Hmong people should have like a Hmong convention versus a New Year or like a, you know, the J4 tournament kind of deal, because with the convention you have a setting of where you're gonna meet those artists or content creators or whatever personalities there, and you don't have to worry about like other sides of like the sports and the pageants. So it's strictly just fans meeting who they want to meet, like the guests there. But and yes, you'd have to pay to meet them, or because you're paying for their time, and I feel like that'd be more of an appropriate like environment. That way, when you do meet the celebrity guests or the guests there, like they won't be so, I guess, dickish to their fans. Because like, you know, with soccer tournaments so overwhelming. For example, like, you know, I went like 2 or 3 years ago. The Yellow Diamond table was packed, and you know they worked so hard going back and forth and giving out CDs, taking pictures and stuff like that. When I went to that table, I went to take a photo with David Yang and Vu Peter, and I was still like in Comic-Con mode. So I went up to the lady who was running the table. I was like, how much is it to take a picture with them? She's like, oh, you don't have to pay, just take a photo with them. So I felt like that was kind of, you know, the way how they were running things, it should have been more like of like a convention, because they were just hustling, you know, everyone's doing everything and running back and forth, and you know, with all the other projects going on, it's very hectic and not so much disorganized, but it's just the setting didn't really feel right when you want to meet these Hmong artists. So that's why I mentioned about like maybe Hmong folks should try to do a convention of some sort, you know, and maybe have like, you know, personalities like you or ZooHlub be there as a guest, and that way you can spend your day meeting your fans versus like trying to sell products and sell you know, inventory and stuff like that for income and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you know, on this topic as well, has there been any, I guess, Hmong artists or actors that you'd like to collaborate with?
Well, it's really difficult for me to say right now, because if I want to collab with someone, the very first thing I look for is like their personality. Like, I'm not saying you have to be like, yeah, 10K, yeah, 10 million, but like, I just like, since I've met a lot of like Hmong like singers, actors in the past that were like had a really bad attitude, I don't want to work with a person that has that vibe, and I don't want to work with a person that pretends that they like me, but like once they get to where they want to be, they forget about me. Does that make sense? So it's very difficult to get to know someone enough to work with them. And like, I don't know, but I feel like usually with like girls and girls, I feel like girls and girls kind of have that like in that like that tension. But if I was to work with like a guy, I feel like it's more loose, if that makes sense. Like it's not really like because they probably feel like there's no competition. But if I was to collab with a girl, I feel like there's a lot of competition.
Like, you feel like they're trying to like one up you or something?
Yeah, I don't care. Like I feel like this is just for fun. Like I don't think of competition, but I feel like a lot of people do. So whenever I ask, I sometimes get denied, or either like it's just like I don't know, like I don't like their vibe, if that makes sense. But I would say the person I want to collab with is this Hmong singer. His name is Leng Ya. I just recently found like one of his covers, and he has a really nice voice. I feel like out of all the Hmong artists, he has the most unique voice. Like like if you like let's say makeup artists, if you hear their voice, you know, like, oh, this style is like Shawn Mendes, or like this style is Celine Dion, you know. But he has like his own style where if you listen to his voice, you know it's him. It's not typical. So I really want to work with I told him Leng Ya, but he said that he's not up for collaboration right now because he's not ready yet. But I think it's just because I can't sing.
You feel like they're just being nice to you?
Yeah, which is okay. I get it. I completely get it. I'm just kidding, but yeah, that's what he said. Like I asked him online. I didn't message him, but I asked him online. I put him in the hot seat.
Maybe that's probably why, because like it's just pressure with all the questions from being live, so you just had to react quickly to that.
Yeah.
You're currently going to be working on the music video soon, right? Is that what you're going to do next?
Yes, I'm actually gonna do that tomorrow. Like I know I'm so sorry. Like we planned to do this podcast this weekend, but then like you know with filming music videos and everything, like I think I'm the only person that doesn't work, but everyone else works, and so like time and like the cameraman has to like be available, the actor has to be available, and then we're going back and forth, and we finally set on this date, and I was like, oh my gosh, this date is the podcast date. And like if I was to like wait further, we would have had to film the music video like months after or something, and I was like, I'll be in school, I can't do that. So yeah, I am doing a music video. This is gonna be like one of my first music video of mine that's actually taken professionally. So I'm really excited because like in the past I've had music videos done, but they weren't mine. Like I filmed for like I was an actor for another person's song, if that makes sense. Or like yeah, I never had a music video that was like professionally done that I claim as my own. So I'm really excited for that.
And I think I saw one of your Facebook posts. You said that you guys were looking for male talent still. Is that you guys already decided on who was going to be the opposite of you in the video?
Yeah, I decided. He's just like a really good friend of mine. I've known him since I was like 9 or 10. Like he lived in Arkansas. He lived in Arkansas. We kind of grew up together, not completely together, but like he was friends with like one of my brother's friends. And so like he came over sometimes. Arkansas is a small community, so everyone kind of sees everyone. Funny thing was like when I was like 10, he was probably like 15, 16. I was like, he's so cute. And I was my brother like, oh my God, I really like your friend. But I was only like 10 years old. And then we grew up. He moved out of state. And then, yeah, the reason why a lot of people didn't want to play the guy's role is because, like, I wrote a song, like, 2 years ago about your significant other passing away. It wasn't, like, I wrote that song 2 years ago. And so I was able to finally produce it and make it come to life. And then a lot of the guy actors were like, I don't want to die. And so I was like, oh. Because
the superstitions kicked in? Like, no, yes. I don't want to be part of that genre.
Yeah, the superstitions kicked in. I was like, oh, great. No one wants to die. And then my friend was like, I'll die for you. I want to die. I'm not superstitious. And I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah. He was telling me how, like, he had this short film that he wanted to do, and he wanted to die somehow from a ghost, and he wanted, like, the people to play the Ouija board, but then no one wanted to play the Ouija board, but then he just canceled the whole thing. And I was like, oh my gosh, you're crazy. But yeah, he's not spiritual, so it's all good. He can die over and over again in my music video.
So, you know, before you wrap things up here, Nplooj Siab, I want to know, do you have any, I guess, tips or advice for any aspiring artists, especially in the Hmong community, you know, that want to break out and do, I guess, be a part of the entertainment industry? You know, it's as competitive as it is right now and as fast as it's growing. What can you say to these aspiring artists out there that want to try to make something of themselves?
Well, I would say that the very first, there's like a lot, I can't really count right now, but the very first thing you should do is you should learn to love yourself first. Because why I say that is because if you don't love yourself, you don't appreciate your work, and if you don't have confidence in yourself, then you're gonna compare yourself to others. And if you compare yourself to others, it's just like you're gonna always have this tension. It might even make you not like that person just because you have that tension of comparing yourself to them, and you'll be like, they never done anything to me, so I don't know why I don't like them. So if you just love yourself and you like believe in yourself, it's okay to be like, I can sing, or it's okay to be like, I can act, because you're not comparing yourself. That's confidence right there. And they need to distinguish the difference between confidence and cockiness, because people are scared to be like, oh, I can sing, or like, oh, I can dance, because they'll be like, oh my gosh, you're so cocky. But no, that's just confidence. Now if you say like, I'm the best singer in the Hmong community, then that's where it gets cocky. You shouldn't say that. But like, it's okay to have confidence, to believe in yourself, to love in yourself, so you don't compare yourself to others. And so if you don't compare yourself to others, then you won't compete with others, because competition between others is really bad. It's just gonna like create hatred inside you. You're just gonna really hate what you do. And I would say the second thing is just to reach out to people. Like if you see someone you want to collab with, like regardless of how famous or like non-famous they are, I would just say like it never hurts to ask. Like if they respond back, then they do. If they don't, then either they don't want to work with you, or they just don't see your messages. It's just like, but don't let that like discourage you as well. So yeah, that's just my advice. Just go for what you really want to do.
Okay, that was really good. For the listeners there, definitely take some of that to heart. And yeah, I agree with that too. Work with those who want to work with you for sure. And because you never know who you're going to network with too. So definitely take the chance to do that. Did you have any like shout outs or plugs that you like to say before we end here? Like, and let fans know about your social media too. That way they can follow you.
I don't have any specific shout outs to like any specific person, but I would just want to say thank you to every single one of my fans that are watching. And once Ricky's done with this, I'll share it to my page so everyone can go watch it too. Because I want to see more of Ricky's podcast. I want to see you guys interacting with Ricky too. And just follow Ricky's page, Ricky's podcast, and follow what's your podcast name? Where they can follow you?
Spoiler Force podcast on all social media platforms. So like you can find Spoiler Force on YouTube, Facebook, on all podcasting platforms like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, anything that's like major, like iHeartRadio, stuff like that. And then you can also follow me on Instagram at RickyVang92, and then on Twitch at RickyVang. And and if there's any like feedback, if you guys want to give feedback to like the episodes or give thoughts and stuff like that, or even like suggest topics or guests, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com. And all of the links and all of the stuff that that we're going to talk about at the end here will be in the description too. And so definitely tune in for this episode, and make sure to follow Nplooj Siab's pages too, and make sure to like her fan page too, not just follow her personal page.
My fan page is Nplooj Siab Vaj with like the space between Nplooj and Xia, and then my personal page is Nplooj Siab all together in one word, and then Vaj at the end. And then my YouTube is Nplooj Siab Vaj official. So basically, if you type in Nplooj Siab, you'll find me somehow. So remember to subscribe, follow, and everything there, so you see all my contents and whatever I'm doing. You see me cook. Oh, and also just people are always asking me like, whenever I cook, do I like play like dumb, or do I play like the dumb blonde? And I will be straight up, I really don't like I just like, I will be super honest. A lot of people ask me that. I'm like, no, like if I know what I'm doing, I would tell you that I know what I'm doing. But if I don't know what I'm doing, I'm not going to act like I know what I'm doing. I'm going to just do what I know what to do, if that makes sense. So I really don't act like I don't know how to do it. I genuinely don't know how to do half the stuff I do when I'm cooking.
If there's one thing I could end off here for you, for sure, if you're going to do more cooking videos, definitely watch Gordon Ramsay's step-by-step tutorials.
I watch him all the time.
So like especially when you were doing the salmon, I was going to send you a video of like how he was like scaling it and taking out the bones. That way you don't have to do it by hand. So like, you know, anyone who's cooking, definitely watch Gordon Ramsay's videos. Like he talks really fast, but it's very direct and down to the point too.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, this is pretty much the end of episode 62 of Spoiler Force Podcast. Thank you so much for watching this video and for listening. If you're listening to the audio version, so definitely tune in. Episodes are mostly dropped on Sundays. And thank you guys for tuning into Spoiler Force Podcast. Make sure to, again, to like, share, and subscribe, and follow Nplooj Siab's content too, and like, share, and subscribe to all of her stuff. And Nplooj, thank you so much for being on the podcast. I really appreciate this opportunity. I know you're very busy with your own content. To make time for this too, I'm very glad that you were able to do this.
Yes, it's okay. Thank you. I'm really happy that I was able to see your message too. I'm really grateful to be on this podcast. So I saw Jonghu and you I saw her share your podcast post. So I was like, oh, she probably did it. So I want to do it too. I was really excited. My first podcast ever. So thank you for asking me.
I'm still going to try to work on getting Jonghu. I had some fans who were really excited for that because we've tried to schedule something twice this year and it just didn't work out. So hopefully maybe before the end of the year, I can try to get her back on the podcast. I know she's even more busy than before too. So hopefully something does work out.
It's okay, don't worry. I'll put a bet and I'll tell her that if she doesn't do a podcast with you, she owes me $1,000 and then she'll do it, trust me.
Well, if that works, then I'll definitely shout you on that episode for sure. So thank you guys for watching and have a great weekend.
Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow, like, share, subscribe, and rate Spoiler Force Podcast. For comments, questions, or criticism, you can email me at rickyvang92@gmail.com or message me on Instagram at instagram.com/rickyvang92.